Revelation chapters 17 and 18. This is the infamous whore of Babylon. I want to refer you to two places in the Old Testament to show that this imagery of the whore of Babylon is, I'll just say it right out, God's wayward people.
Israel.
And it can also be us.
Right.
We act the harlot when we follow our passions and sins and not follow God. Turn to Ezekiel chapter 16. I'm glad there are no children present tonight. Ezekiel chapter 16. This is probably one of the, for a lack of a better word, raciest passage chapters of the whole Bible. This should be rated R plus, maybe even X.
What chapter again?
Chapter 16, page 704 in the Old Testament. Ezekiel 16. I'm only going to introduce a little bit of this. I would encourage you to read the whole chapter. If you want to see how God calls things as they are, He does not hold back. He gets extraordinarily graphic with them. With whom? In Ezekiel's time, it was a wayward Israel who was in exile in Babylon. He's saying, you want to know why y'all are here? I'll tell you why y'all are here. You ready? Again, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, make it known to Jerusalem her abominations. Jerusalem was like 500 miles away. They were in Iraq. They were in Babylon. What's he talking about? He's saying, all of y'all here in exile here in Babylon, this word is for you. You want to know what the word is? I'll tell you. Thus says the Lord God to Jerusalem, your origin and your birth are of the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. And as for your birth, on the day you were born, your navel string was not cut, nor were you washed with water to cleanse you, nor rubbed with salt, nor swabbed with bands. No, I pitied you to do any of these things to you out of compassion for you. But you were cast out in an open field to be abhorred on the day that you were born. He's describing Israel. And when I passed by you and saw you weltering in your blood, meaning their mother's blood. So you get the idea that here's this childbirth, the umbilical cord hadn't even been cut, still in the blood and placenta of the mother there on the side of the road and abandoned. That's you, Israel. That's what you were. And I walked by. Now look at this. And I said to you in your blood, live and grow up like a plant of the field. And you grew up and became tall and arrived at full maidenhood. Your breasts were formed and your hair had grown, yet you were naked and bare. And I passed by you again and looked upon you, and behold, you were at the age of love. And I spread my skirt over you and covered your nakedness. Yea, I pledged myself to you and entered into
a covenant.
A covenant with you, says the Lord, and you became mine. Did you hear that? This little abandoned baby girl, God took care of, grew up, she became a beautiful young woman, and he covenanted with her, and she became part of his family. Right? So, of course, this young abandoned woman would be very grateful and would seek to please her adoptive father as best she could. Right?
Right.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Look at all that God did for her, too, the ungrateful little wench. I would have said something else, but we're on camera. Look, but you know what? God will not pull punches. I'm telling you, hold on tight. I clothed you with embroidered cloth and shod you with leather. I wrapped you in fine linen and covered you with silk. I decked you with ornaments and put bracelets on your arm and chains on your neck. Put a ring in your nose and earrings in your ears and a beautiful crown on your head. You were decked with gold and silver, and your clothing was fine linen and silk and embroidered cloth. You ate fine flour and honey and oil. You grew exceedingly beautiful and came to regal estate, and your renown went forth among the nations. Because of your beauty, for it was perfect through the splendor which I bestowed upon you, says the Lord God. And again, you suspect this girl to be grateful and thankful for all the beauty and gifts and all the blah, blah, right? Wrong. Verse 15, but you trusted in your beauty and played the harlot because of your renown and lavished your harlotries on any passerby. You took some of your garments and made for yourself gaily decked shrines, and on them played the harlot, like there had never been nor ever shall be. You took your jewels of my gold and my silver, which I given you, and made yourself images of men, and with them played the harlot. I don't hope I need to be more explicit than that. This is a very toned down version of what the Hebrew actually says. Do I need to explain it a little bit more?
No.
Let us just say she took all of these fine things and made, shall we say, adult toys with them. Let's just leave it at that. Now you say, I've got news for you. Who's speaking here?
God.
To whom?
Israel.
And why do you think he's using such graphic imagery? Why?
Because they didn't obey the law.
Kind of snap them into a, wake up, wake up. This is how you are really living as a spiritual person. Do you get it? This is what it's like. And I'm telling you, God just, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of this chapter. I'm actually going to stop here. But did you notice the images that were used? Fine gold, silver, linen, all that kind of stuff. And what is the one word that keeps coming back? She plays the, she plays the, she plays the. Now turn to Revelation 17. Like I said, if you want something racy to read tonight, continue the rest of the chapter. I'm telling you.
So Chip, just to have my mind right. So this is when, Israel's in Babylon, exiled to Babylon, and they're mixing with all the other nations, and they have forgotten God.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Their covenant with God.
Yes. And they should be faithful to God. He's given them all this wealth and glory and prestige. He put a crown on her head. Did you notice that? She was a princess. And what did she do?
She sold it all.
She sold it all for a bag of beans, basically. Right?
Right.
By the way, I don't want to end on a sour note. Does God still love her?
Yes.
Deeply and passionately. He doesn't give up. How do I know that? What is the message of the prophets?
Repent.
Repent! Sound familiar? Someone in the New Testament preached that. Who was it? John the Baptist. Someone else after him preached that too. Oh my goodness. Huh? What does that tell you about his church? What do you think? Does he love his church?
Yes.
Deeply and passionately. And what is he calling the church to do? Repent. Come back. Stop doodling around with sin. You don't need that. Okay. Revelation chapter 7. 17, sorry, 17. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great, who is seated upon many waters, and with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication." Now, doesn't this sound familiar? Yeah, isn't this how God described Israel with Ezekiel? Keep reading. Verse 3, and he carried him away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman seated on a scarlet beast, which was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. We'll get to him later. The woman was clothed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and pearls, holding in her hand a golden goblet full of her abominations and of the impurities of her fornication or harlotries. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and the earth's abominations. What was the very first thing Ezekiel said in chapter 16 that he was prophesying against? Jerusalem's abominations. You think there is a connection here? You think? And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And I saw her and I marveled greatly, but the angel said to me, "Why marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her." And then he goes on. The rest of chapter 17 is an explanation of that. But I wanted to point out this idea because we're talking about marriage. We also talk about its antithesis, the breaking of the marriage covenant through harlotry. And the whore of Babylon that is described in here is connected to the infidelity of Israel. It's connected to the infidelity. Now, there is a specific symbolism of this woman. But in general, the message that we can receive from it is, don't be like this. This is not your lot. Because this woman does not end well. Okay? She's destroyed at the end by the beast in whom she rides. Very similarly to how the suitors of the harlot, Israel, in Ezekiel 16, basically mess her up. And yet God still has compassion and comes back and redeems her, etc. Okay?